I'm a 27-year-old woman and I have a black horse, the color is important for later, named Ebony, and I have her at a boarding stable where I used to get riding lessons before getting my own horse. For some reason though, horses tend to attract entitled people though, since this wasn't my first encounter with them here is the cast. Me, entitled mom, I will call barn witch, entitled daughter, I will call barn goblin, and my old trainer who still works there. So, I had my horse tied up in a second where you have room to groom them and able to tack them up and was brushing her down when barn goblin showed up, wanting to pet Ebony. I told her not to pet her since I didn't know this kid, and it is not a good idea to go near strange horses with the risk of being kicked, since horses can kill if they kick. Barn goblin screams out, "Mommy, she won't let me pet the black horse." That's when barn witch showed up, huffing, "Lady, I have a kid and she wants to pet your horse." No, it is not a good idea to pet strange horses, since they can be skittish, I tell her. Barn goblin wants yours though, she only likes black horses and the trainer only let her ride a white one. Barn witch snapped. I'm sorry, but this isn't his horse, it's mine, and that horse the trainer brought out is better with new people, others aren't, I say, trying to keep calm. Right then we heard a barn goblin scream, and her hand was bleeding since she tried petting my old trainer's new horse, since she was the only other black horse there, and this horse didn't like strangers at all, resulting in the barn goblin getting bit pretty hard. My old trainer came out to see what was going on, and I will say he is someone you don't want to mess with. After I explained what happened and what was going on, my old trainer snapped at them, telling him to leave and find another place to ride, since not only did this kid get bit for not listening, but was yanking on and using spurs on his other horse, which wasn't allowed. I just smirked when barn witch and goblin were kicked out, never to be seen again. Update. For those asking me, the trainer did see the spurs, but goblin wouldn't get down or remove the spurs when he asked her to, eventually forcing her off with a warning. The biting was the final warning. I heard this from him after they left since I wasn't in the arena when it happened. I grew up around horses and think I understand why entitled people are attracted to them. From their perspective, a horse is a large and powerful animal that will follow all of your commands. That would be exhilarating for someone that feels the whole world should be like that. It's their expected sense of control. It's also why they often end up being the most uncomfortable once they are up in a saddle and realize this isn't the case. Lol. Love when entitled people don't get their way. My mate's donkey once decked some kid in a field who tried to stroke the beastie. Never had a problem with strange people near his field paddock afterwards. The barn goblin will hopefully learn, like the kid who got headbutted by a donkey, that animals should be respected, appreciated, and are not playthings. I doubt it, but we can live in hope. This happened a year ago. I, 26F at the time in 2021, have only a living paternal grandmother, 90F. Growing up I tried to bond and form any form of emotional connection, but it only caused me to not be related to her by blood. I would get compared to her favorite grandchildren. She would constantly abuse me emotionally, told me constantly that I was the black sheep of the family, and told me I wasn't going to succeed in life, which is why I tried to unalive myself because she motivated them most of the time. The last straw for me was when my older brother died, he was 25M, and told my grieving parents that another filthy soul out of this world. My brother was an innocent soul that was killed off for only eating in a fast food restaurant, and I snapped at her telling her, the day your funeral comes, I'll probably wear the brightest red dress I have in my closet because I'll never mourn your loss, on the contrary I'll celebrate when that happens. This happened in 2014. Since then, at every family event, I would avoid her or pretend she doesn't exist, hell I would even skip going to her birthday parties. So last November she got sick, and she wanted all her children and grandchildren to take care of her in the hospital since her favorite daughter, my aunt, 52F, and her favorite grandchildren, 33F, 31M, 25F, can't do it. She said this to my dad over the phone, and I told her sorry, but my grandparents died in 2004 and 2012, and I don't have any other grandparents since I am not a granddaughter to my last living grandparent. She started to cry, more like manipulate, and told me that I am her granddaughter and this could be a good moment to bond and mend our relationship. I said to her, now I am your granddaughter? I needed you for 26 years, but in those 26 years you broke me emotionally, and I can't since I study and work, plus there is no relationship to save. I hung up for my father before she could say anything. I've been told I am a horrible human being for what I've said to her, but I don't feel sorry at all for her. I mean, she dug her own grave, now she can go and lie in it for all I care. That's karma for you. I fully support you here. She's the idiot, not you. Hope you've got a stunning red dress just in case. Listen to a piece of advice from someone who has been there. Do not help her, she will critique everything you do, and she will feel entitled to any piece of your time, whether you are actually free or not. Furthermore, when she finally gets out of this world, no one will acknowledge your efforts or even thank you. Trust me, it's not worth it. Very nicely put. I'm so sorry she treated you so badly and said horrible things about your brother. I'm actually shocked your parents didn't cut her out. You had the best response. You haven't got a grandparent alive and you stand by that. People seem to forget that just because they get poorly, it doesn't mean everyone should forgive their past deeds. So I am a 14-year-old male, and my family recently moved into a house in a new estate. This estate had a park that was massive. My house is on the main road of the estate, and its garage is on the other side of another road, and we are close to the park. About 2 months ago they hosted an opening ceremony for the park. A lot of people came, and people from the surrounding areas came as well. Me, my brother and my parents left our house and walked down to the park. Due to all the traffic, there were people to manage it. Once we get there we see a car parked in our driveway. My dad is a calm dude usually, but he doesn't like stuff like this. Me and my brother, 18 years old, go up to one of the workers and tell him that the car in there wasn't ours and we don't want it there. The worker tells us he saw the people parked there and kind of remembers what they look like. We tell him that it would be good if we get the car moved. He says he will try to find her. About 20 minutes later we see him walking up to the car with a lady and her son who look to be about 9. She walks up there and we see her starting to get angry. Naturally, we walk up to see what's happening. This is the conversation that happened, not 100% accurate, it's been a while. Karen. I don't understand why you want me to move my car. I live here. Worker. Well, they say that you don't and I don't see why they would bring this issue here unless it was true. Karen. They are clearly lying. I live here. My brother. Ma'am, please. I live here and I even have keys to the house, please move your car. Karen. Crap, complete crap. I have lived here for a year and watched this park get built. Our house was finished 5 months prior to this. My brother. Okay then, what 2 cars are inside the garage then? Karen. A Volkswagen and a Mazda. My brother. Nope, a Volkswagen Jetta and a Hyundai i45. Karen. That's not true, I'll open the garage and show you. As she scuffles through her handbag, my brother opens the garage. My brother. There, that's the evidence, closes the garage. Worker. It's not your house, so please leave. She gets in the car and leaves while looking very angry. We didn't think to call the cops because nothing major happened, but it was funny to see her lying and getting proven wrong. Sadly, too many resort to lying and then get angry when proven to be liars. OP. I don't know, did she expect that we wouldn't be able to prove ourselves or that somehow she would be believed? Like many entitled people, they believed that you would be too embarrassed or uncomfortable with the confrontation to question her too deeply. Her method works 90% of the time. This happened to my mom. There was a big parade in her small town, and Soul would just park wherever. She had just gotten off her morning shift and came home to find people parked in her driveway and hanging out on her porch and using her patio set on her deck. A few people had even borrowed her camping chairs, which she keeps in the corner of her patio. She asked them if the cars belonged to any of them, and they said they did, but that they lived there and she could F off to park elsewhere. She was like whatever and parked behind the vehicles sideways, thus blocking all of them in. The group was screaming at her to move her damn car or they will call the cops on her. She just smirked and unlocked her side door and went into the house. She said it was hilarious hearing the people panicking because they realized they messed up. They called the local police on her when she refused to move her car. She is friends with the police, a super small town. They laughed and said technically they couldn't force mom to move her car since she was parked legally in her own driveway. Mom finally moved it and told them she wouldn't have had a problem if they hadn't decided her lawn chairs and patio were theirs to use. She scolded them and said they should park to the side so the homeowner could still park and they can sit in the tree lawn like normal people do.